What it do, man? It's your boy Battle Truth coming to you live and direct from the Battle Truth headquarters. Let's talk about this grooming process that I done. Like this was my plan all along. I've been planning this from the very beginning of the birth to take this 23-year-old woman and groom her. Only so I can groom up for somebody else and then reap the benefits later from my grooming process I started with her. This is what they trying to say. These brothers so thirsty. They so thirsty, but this easy for me. Nobody could explain and tell my life and the truth better than me, especially no outsider who don't know, because you lack the information. But I'm going to give y'all the information because this is what I do. This is Battle Truth. So let's talk about this information, this grooming process of me. See, they can't say I raped or molested her because I never did none of that stuff. And since she grown and over the age of being an adult, they try to bring more shame to it in some type of manner. What's sad is it hurts that she got a 3-year-old child. That hurt them because you can't get around that because now you got to address the relationship she had bringing a child into the world with her baby daddy that she done had since she was, what, 17 or 18 years old? We're going to talk about that. Who she just recently, probably beginning of this year, just broke up with. So he been there from 17 to 23. But we're going to talk about that since this is the grooming process I put her under. And these dudes so thirsty and shifty, they actually even tried to cut down the time I was in prison. I wish that time was for real. Y'all took away them other 4 years like that didn't happen. I wish that's how dirty and shifty they is. They really tried to go in my prison sentencing and say he really didn't do those 8 years that they gave him. He only did 4, just so that it could fit into this grooming process. That's how fake, lame, pathetic because they ain't got nothing. So they trying so hard to get something that's how desperate they had to go. That's how desperate they had to go. But we're going to break it down in truth. We're going to really talk about it, break it down in truth. And this is why God say, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. And every tongue that rises up against me shall be condemned. Well, let's condemn it. So, according to them, this was part of my grooming process. Always had this in my plans. To groom this young woman up to be just like I want her. And then pop her off later on. Well, I did a terrible job in grooming. Shall we? Let's go through it. So her grandmother been raising her whole life. You didn't know that. Her mother went down south. I was hustling. Her grandmother was raising and taking care of her. Her family watching this, they know that this is the truth. My family watching this, they know that this is the truth. I went to prison when she was 3 years old. Did 7 years, we bring it to 10. I get out, so that makes her 10 years old. She still live with her grandmama. I have nothing. Really no place to go or nothing. I'm out on my own. I go move in with my big sister in her house with my nephews now, you know. So she definitely not there. From there, I'm getting myself together. I live by myself 2 years later. I'm by myself in my own house 2 years later, 2 or 3 years later. Oh, they just bring it to 13. They bring her to 13. But she don't live with me or nothing like that. But here's the thing. Here's another thing. During that time, my first year out, even before I got my own house, my first year out, y'all remember I did the pages, chapters of my life when I was speaking about my my girl who tried to get the dude to shoot me in the face. Remember I told you he called me on the phone and asked me, did I know her? And then I said, yeah. Then he said, yeah, she tried to get me to shoot you in the face. And it was because he was telling it to his cousin, but his cousin that he was telling it to was actually the girl I was talking to at that time. And she heard my name like Malachi. It ain't too many Malachis in Milwaukee. I'm talking to him. And she the one busted out and had him call me. Y'all remember that story? I know Kenshiro and them and Chosen One and Raheem. I know y'all know that story. Y'all remember that. That was her mother. So, you know, I stayed away from that situation. In fact, that was when A-Dep was trying to do that thing, talking about I snitched on somebody. It was actually that story that he was using. So, you know, I would really stand clear from her because she was on some shifty stuff. And I had 9 years of parole to do. And I'm just getting out. And I know that they hated I was free. And a lot of them was shamed and wanted to send me back to prison because they were having sex with a lot of my guys and homies, family members and stuff. See, it's a lot of stuff y'all don't know. See, y'all just talk. It's a lot of stuff y'all just don't know. Okay? So a lot of them was doing that. And but they didn't know I was different. I'm a changed man, but they don't believe that. They like, no, he ain't changed. That dude. So they didn't know that was real like that. So she was trying to get rid of me first, some first type stuff. So I stayed clear of her and wanted nothing to do with her. This also affects the grooming process of her daughter. Then her mother moved down south with her daughter at the age of what, 14? 14. Then come back when she's 15. She come back when she's 15. She come to live with me and my baby mama for like 2 weeks. Then go back and move with her grandmother, where she then never come back. She never came back. And in the process of her never coming back, when I talked to her, because I found out she was like dancing, you know, dancing and stuff. And I asked her like, man, how long you been dancing? And she told me she been dancing since she was like 16. I say, damn, deja vu. But see, I don't know how things is where y'all at. I don't know how things is where y'all at. But I'm like, how you get in the club? I knew what she was finna say. And that's why I said, like, history definitely do continue to repeat itself. The hustle just don't change. It's the same game, just different names. She was like, add fake IDs. I'm like, that's crazy. That's the same thing my other baby mama was doing type stuff. So she told me that. And people who know her know she's a dancer in this city that really know her. This ain't no secret. I'm not saying nothing this city don't know. They literally know her as a dancer in the real strip clubs down here. So she says she's been doing that since she was 16, which led her into like meeting her baby daddy, who she ended up getting pregnant by and having a baby with. Since y'all looking things up. So her and him get the busting moves and hitting the licks together, you know. Now, she ain't around me, none of this type of stuff. That's what I'm saying. Grooming. When? What year? What time? What place? So her and her baby daddy doing whatever they doing. Because remember, they're in like a 5-6 year relationship. They ended up catching a case together. Allegedly, she would be the dancer. He'll be the trigger man. They was on their Bonnie and Clyde type stuff. They catch a case. She get locked up for that. Like after having the baby. She get locked up for that after having the baby. I believe they was living together too, if I ain't mistaken. I think they was. So she had the baby, then catch a case on their Bonnie and Clyde type stuff. They both catch a case together. So she went to jail for like a year or something. She went to jail for like a year or something. Got out the year before last. And no, she got out last year. Yeah, last year. Or the year before last? Well, I don't know, but somewhere between that, she got out. A year or something later. Probably last year. A year or something. Oh, she got out last year or something like that. Or yeah, it was last year. Because she did a year. She did a whole year, then got out last year. And she broke up with him this year. And she just broke up with him this year. Somewhere between the beginning of this year, somewhere between that time. Anyway, when did the grooming start? When did the grooming process start? These are facts you can't get around. None of you can get around. So trying to paint this picture, or it's crazy how these dudes really trying to talk this stuff like it's real, like they was there, like it's facts, like they just walking through, and they really putting their whole hearts in it, they whole feeling in it, and speaking like this is the absolute truth. I could swear on it. I could bet, like, and literally trying to sell it. Literally trying to sell it like, oh, you were grooming her. You want when? What year? What time? When was I grooming? I did a terrible job in grooming. Landed her in prison. Landed her having a baby. Landed her having a baby. Not finishing school. When did I groom? What? When? It's not the case, and it's not true at all. So how was I grooming her? How was I grooming her when she was somebody else for 6 years? This is a fact. This is a fact that nobody can get around. When? When did the grooming start? How? When did I raise her? When did I raise her? I never raised her. Ever. Come on. She's raised by her grandmother. So I'm sorry. You lied again. Y'all just continue to lie. And you're going to continue to lose. This stuff is so easy. It's easy because I'm not guilty of nothing. All my crimes, I went to prison for already. I already went to prison for selling dope. I already went to prison for the gun stuff. I already went to prison for all that type of stuff. The only thing you can say is that he was having sex with women. He was having sex with women. Okay, whatever. Okay, I'll take that. I didn't take no woman against her will. I ain't forced no woman. I ain't beat up no woman. Ain't do. Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that. So whatever picture you trying to paint, and I don't care about talking about my life. You see how I could talk about that stuff? Stuff don't bother me. Do you see how I could talk about that stuff? That stuff don't bother me. It never have. It never have. Because I don't have no skeletons in my closet. I'm not ashamed of that type of stuff. So all that stuff you talking about don't mean nothing, man. It's your boy Battle Truth. Ain't my judgment, that's a question. It's yours. Subscribe to Battle Truth. What else lies y'all gonna say? That's crazy. That dude really tried to say, that's crazy. That at least when I be breaking dude down, I really put it out there and put that real down. That dude literally tried to squeeze a grooming in there. Like really tried to squeeze. Yeah, y'all, he actually did only 4 years. So he was grooming her. He was there to raise her. Bro, you can't get around time. Ain't no way to get around that time. You can't get around that time. No matter how hard you try. I'm sorry. It's just not going to work for you, bro. It's not. So at the end of the day, these are facts you can't get around. None of y'all can. So I'm sorry. That was if I groomed her, that was terrible grooming. Especially if my so-called intentions and motive was to groom her so that she could be ready for me. Terrible. That's terrible grooming. For real. I felt in every area. I felt in every area. But see, y'all ain't got nothing to say. Y'all ain't got nothing to say. You ain't got nothing to go on. So this is how you fish. You trying to fish for results. But you forget you're speaking about me. So I have to address this in the real. I have to address this in the real. And this is what you can't get around. And this is what you can't get around. Facts and proofs like this. With that being said, it's your boy Battle Truth. It ain't my judgment, that's a question, it's yours. Hit the link in the description box, subscribe to Battle Truth. All this is in my book I'm writing too. So y'all giving up my book. But I don't care. People still gonna read it because it's gonna be a hell of a good read. Remember, this is part of my book. No Sense of Crying. That's the name of my book. No Sense of Crying. Fire, man. That being said, it's your boy Battle Truth. It ain't my judgment, that's a question. It's yours. See how it's easy to break them down. See how it's easy to break them down. Think about that, y'all. Didn't I do a terrible job in grooming? I groomed up for somebody else to reap the benefits. Ain't that something? I did all that grooming only for somebody else to reap the benefits of my hard work and effort that I was supposed to have been building her. Huh? These people crazy, man.